Day 2 of the Comal Clash Tournament comes your way on the Wolves Network as Davenport looks to stay undefeated in this tournament as they take on the Hondo Owls on a Friday morning here in San Antonio. On the Wolves Network, I'm Brain Freeman on this 72-degree, 18-mile-per-hour day with the wind blowing. Again, just shy of 20 miles an hour. You see the American flag ripping through just outside the complex here at Wolfpack Park. Davenport, a couple of wins to open up this tournament yesterday. A 5-2 victory over John Paul II, and then a wild come-from-behind win over Hondo last night in the nightcap, 9-8. A game that saw the Wolves scored 5 at the bottom of the fourth. Hondo responded with 6 in the top of the fifth before Davenport came back to win with 2 runs of its own in the bottom of the fifth inning. Looking at the defense and the pitching here today for the Wolves, Locke Taylor. You see him, number 20, on the mound here this afternoon for Davenport. The defense behind him, the Wolves have Braden Mulkey in left field, Emmett Griman in center, and Caleb Pacheco out in right. The infield defense for Davenport, Cody Meckler's at third, the shortstop Kyler Payne, C.J. Tanner's at second, and at first base today for the Wolves, Tristan Hamlin. And Hondo up at the plate to start this game here this afternoon with Matthew Alfred calling balls and strikes behind home plate. And this game is underway with a foul ball hit by Carson Winchester. So first pitch coming your way at 11:03 here in San Antonio. Winchester coming into this Comal Clash Tournament, batting .500. A couple of RBI and 6 runs scored. Was 1 for 4 in this matchup last night with an RBI. Scored a run and also struck out. Hondo comes in with a record of 4-5. This is their 10th game of the year. Davenport, this is their 12th game. The Wolves are 6-5 so far this season. Over to the shortstop, Payne. Long throw, and it took Hamlin off the bag, and that will allow Winchester to take second. So Hondo, one batter in, has a runner in scoring position. That'll send up Caden Lentz for the Owls. Third-year player for Hondo. 2 for 8 hitter coming into this tournament with 3 runs driven in. Mentioned Hondo's record of 4-5. The last time the Owls played a completed season, back in 2019, they were 22-7 and won a district championship. For Davenport, of course, this is their first year of varsity baseball. As Taylor visits with his battery mate Thompson. Locke Taylor, 6 innings of work so far this year. Has struck out 9, has walked 6. Faces an Owl lineup collectively batting over .300 coming into the tournament. On-base percentage of .455. And now it's Lentz with a man on and nobody out. Lentz 1 for 4 last night as well for Hondo against Davenport. Top third of the order was pretty good for the Owls last night. And that wild pitch will allow Winchester to take third. Top 3 batters for Hondo last night between Winchester, Lentz, and Brendan Garcia. A combined 5 hits. They scored 4 of the Owls' 8 runs. The lone hit Lentz had last night was a double. Takes ball 2. Owls are coached by Mitch Winchester. His sons Carson and Will, both in the starting lineup here today for Hondo. Team out of District 29 4A. And Winchester will come home and score the game's first run. So Hondo on top 1-0. But again, no lead was safe yesterday. Davenport jumped out to a 2-0 lead at the end of 2. Hondo came back to tie it, 2 runs in the third. And then the Wolves put up a 5-spot in the bottom of the 4th. Taylor digs in as Lentz shows a bunt and will take first base.
Now batting for the Owls, the pitcher number 10, Brandon Garcia.
So the first 2 have reached for Hondo, and that will send up today's starting pitcher for the Owls, Brandon Garcia. Second-year player for Hondo, was 2 for 12 with the plate coming into this Comal Clash tournament with 4 runs driven in. Very productive yesterday, though. 3 hits. Drove in 2. Doubled and homered yesterday. Runner goes, but that's fouled off, but that will send Garcia, or Lentz rather, back to first base. The top third of the order for Hondo here today: Carson Winchester, Caden Lentz, Brandon Garcia. The middle third is Will Winchester, followed by Trey Dickens and Caleb Gauna. And the bottom third of the order rounded out by Gabe Guajardo, Sheldon Lutke, and Leland Rodriguez. There's a ball in the air to center, and coming in, Griman the catch. Throw back to first, and that gets away from Hamlin. And Lentz will take second. But the Wolves record their first out here at the top of the first. And now it's Will Winchester. Had a tough night against the Wolves pitching last night, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. You look at the Davenport pitching from last night. Tristan Rudwick was a starter, 4 1/3 last night, through 88 pitches, struck out 5. That gets away from Thompson, and Lentz will advance 90 more feet over to third base. Braden Mulkey and Eli Hyen also came in relief last night for Davenport. Again, they won the opening game of this Comal Clash tournament over John Paul, 5-2. The Wolves trailed that game early. Came back to win. Caleb Pacheco, winning pitcher, really good stuff yesterday. 5 innings, did not give up an earned run, and had 8 strikeouts. Good play by Meckler at third, and now a rundown. Back to Meckler. Taylor covering home and applies a tag for the second out. Heads up play there by Meckler at third base as Winchester hits into a fielder's choice and keeps this a 1-0 Hondo lead. Now the batter, Trey Dickens, for the Owls. Dickens didn't bat in this game last night. As Taylor visits with the infield. This while Mitch Winchester visits with the base umpire, Robert Rendon. Dickens coming into the Comal Clash tournament, 2 for 5 at the plate. As you look into the Hondo dugout, again to this brand new facility, Wolfpack Park. Year one of Davenport baseball. And again, because this is year one, no seniors on the roster. Young Davenport team holding its own, out to a 6-5 start this year. Dickens looks at ball one, off the glove of Thompson, and Winchester will take third base. Davenport opened the season with 4 straight losses in the Marion tournament, but then responded by winning its next 4 games. An 11-0 rout of Randolph, followed by wins over Uvalde, Poteet, and Burbank. And again, they won their first 2 of this Comal Clash Tournament. On the ground, up the middle and through for a hit. Dickens drives home Winchester. Hondo on top early, 2-0.
Now batting for the Owls, the second baseman, number 1, Caleb Gauna.
So a good piece of 2-out hitting for the Owls sends up Caleb Gauna. And the next pitch will be Taylor's 15th of this long half inning. 6th batter of the first coming up for Hondo. Davenport didn't retire Gauna last night. Was 1 for 1, drew a couple of walks and drove in a run. Good hitter towards the lower part of the order for head coach Mitch Winchester. Gauna 5 for 9 this year, coming into the tournament with a couple of doubles. Hit and run on as Gauna fouls it off. Although the Owls scored 8 runs last night, they did leave 7 men on base. Davenport pitching also left John Paul with 4 men on base in the opening game of the tournament. A wild pitch from Taylor. And Dickens heads over to second base. After this morning's game, Davenport will play twice more today against Kerrville-Tivy. Busy Friday here for the Wolves. And district play, by the way, looming not far from now, 11 days from today. They'll open district on March 23rd against Fredericksburg. Ball that got away from Thompson. Dickens over to third base now. And the count 2-2. Taylor looking to send this game into the bottom of the first and get the bats up for the first time here this morning. That'll fill the count. Gabe Guajardo waiting on deck, but Taylor would like to put off facing him until the second. 2 runs in. Gauna, the 6th batter of the inning. And Dickens waiting at third. Taylor struck him out. The out secured by Thompson on the throw to Hamlin over at first base. Locke Taylor, his first strikeout of the game, and that'll end the top of the first. 2 runs in for Hondo. On just 1 base hit, we go to the bottom of the first on the Wolves Network.
It's every school. The dedication, the passion, the preparation.
1, 2, 3,
every game, every day.
It's all been built up. Now it's time to play.
And it only happens here. Every play, every run. It's every pass and score. It's everything you love, and it's everything we live for. This is big. Only on Big Ten Network.
The Maine Cabin Master's main motto. Work hard. Work harder. In any weather. Any weather.
Just another day in the life of Maine Cabin Masters.
On an all-new Maine Cabin Masters, Monday night at 9, only on DIY Network.
Watch DIY GVTC Channel 126.
Out here, Wolfpack Park. In the bottom of the first, and Hondo on top 2-0. Brandon Garcia, the starting pitcher for the Owls, and he is facing off against Emmett Griman to start off the bottom of the first. Count full to Griman. On the year, batting .370, OPS over 800. 8 RBI so far this year for Griman. And take strike 3. So the first strikeout for Garcia, who is looking for his first win of the season. Garcia 0-1 in 2 appearances and an ERA of 7. Sends up the Wolves' third baseman Cody Meckler. Batting .400 on the year. And OPS himself just shy of 1,000 at .984. First pitch swinging. On the ground is short. Winchester, tough throw, but a good stretch by his brother. The other Winchester over at first base. A play from Carson to Will. And those are 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the first. Brings up Caleb Pacheco. Talked about all these OPSs. Well, Pacheco's is over 1,000 at over 1,200. Batting .423. 11 for 26 at the plate with 3 doubles, a couple of triples, and 6 runs driven in. And Pacheco was the one who had the heroics last night. Bases loaded RBI walk to walk it off in a 9-8 win over the Owls. Count even, a ball and a strike. That was one of 2 walks for Pacheco last night. Finished 1 for 2 at the plate. And he is 1 for 4 so far in this tournament. Garcia misses glove side for ball 2. Griman, Meckler, Pacheco, top third of the order for head coach Ryan Keenan. Taylor, Waxler, Thompson, middle third of the order, followed by Payne, Tanner, and Braden Mulkey. $11 pitches so far here in the first for Garcia. Foul tip strike, it's 3-2. Good crowd on hand for what was an 11 a.m. start here today. Struck him out. A 1-2-3 first for Brandon Garcia. And the Owls lead after 1, 2-0. The top of the second coming up after this on the Wolves Network.
It's every school. The dedication, the passion, the preparation.
1, 2, 3,
every game, every day.
It's all been built up. Now it's time to play.
And it only happens here. Every play, every run. It's every pass and score. It's everything you love, and it's everything we live for. This is big. only on Big Ten Network.
The Maine Cabin Masters main motto. Work hard. Work harder. In any weather. Any weather.
Just another day in the life of Maine Cabin Masters.
On an all-new Maine Cabin Masters, Monday night at 9, only on DIY Network.
Watch DIY GVTC Channel 126.
Back at Wolfpack Park, here in the campus of Davenport High School on the Wolves Network. 2-0 Hondo on top here in day 2 of the Comal Clash Tournament. Wolves out to a 2-0 start so far in the tournament. And again, it is a 72-degree day, but very gray, overcast on this Friday afternoon. Wind howling at 18 miles an hour. Gabe Guajardo, Sheldon Lutke, and Leland Rodriguez due to bat here for the Owls in the top half of the second. Locke Taylor for the Wolves threw 20 pitches back in the first inning. His counterpart, Brennan Garcia, went through the Wolves in order, had 2 strikeouts, and a good start for him on the mound. Guajardo didn't bat against Davenport yesterday, so his first appearance against Wolves pitching this weekend. But again, the Owls looking for some payback after Davenport walked off against Hondo last night, 9-8. Good play at first base by Tristan Hamlin. A line out to first, stabbed by Hamlin. 1 pitch and 1 out.
Right fielder number 7, Shelton Lutke.
Hamlin only playing defense for Davenport here today, not in the batting order. And a good play over at first. Sends up Shelton Lutke. Was hitless coming into this Comal Clash Tournament. First-year player for Hondo. Takes ball 1. Lutke, though, did have 2 hits yesterday, but also struck out. Between the 2 games yesterday, Davenport pitching 14 strikeouts across 10 innings. 2-0. There are 2 sites for the Comal Clash Tournament, by the way. The other is at Canyon Lake High School. Wolves and Hawks sharing a district in 28-4A. 3-0. Those 2 will meet in April, by the way, on the 20th and 23rd at Canyon Lake and at Davenport, respectively. In the Hawks bracket, Canyon Lake is hosting San Antonio Johnson, 6A program. A get me over strike from Taylor's 3-1. East Central and San Antonio Holmes, all 3 schools, 6A programs. That's a walk. Second given up by Locke Taylor. And the 1-out walk will bring up Leland Rodriguez for Hondo.
Number 24, Leland Rodriguez.
In this bracket, of course, these 2 hit it, Davenport and Hondo. Jean-Paul II, who the Wolves beat yesterday 5-2, and Kerrville Tybee, a 5A program. The freshman Rodriguez steps in. 0 for 2 in this game last night with a run scored. Takes ball 1. After this tournament, the Wolves have 3 non-district games left before the start of 28-4A play. Austin Waves coming into Wolfpack Park this coming Tuesday. Next Friday, a doubleheader of Wolves baseball against Navarro and the Panthers. Coach Ryan Keenan is out there to the mound to visit with Locke Taylor, as he is fallen behind against Leland Rodriguez. 2 balls and no strikes. This after walking Lutke over to first, as Mitch Winchester, the Owls head coach, visits with Rodriguez, waiting for this meeting to come to an end. Again, Coach Ryan Keenan, first-year head coach for this first-year program. And Davenport, so far 6-5 under his watch here in the early part of 2021. Meeting is over, and Rodriguez will dig back in. Ahead against Taylor, 2 balls and no strikes. And there's Lutke over at first. A swing and a miss. The throw from Thompson not in time as Lutke swipes second base. That's Lutke's second stolen base of this series. Had one last night. The Owls had 3 as a team. That's their first here this afternoon. Taylor just got a swinging strike. Misses in, runs the count to 3 balls and a strike. And the top part of Hondo's order is awaiting on deck. Carson Winchester. "30 pitches already for Locke Taylor. Last night's starter, Tristan Rudwick, threw 88. Strike 2. The sophomore Locke Taylor looking perhaps for his second strikeout of the game. Doesn't have it here. It's a walk to Rodriguez. So 2 on and 1 out for Carson Winchester.
Now batting for the Owls, shortstop number 17, Carson Winchester.
Back-to-back walks. That's now 3 walks in the game for Locke Taylor. And here is one of the 2 coaches' sons on the team, Carson Winchester. Had a good throw at shortstop in the last half inning.
Courtesy runner for the catcher, number 34, Andreas.
And there is a courtesy runner now over at first base for Hondo. It's Brandon Andreas. There he is, taking the place for Rodriguez for now. And Winchester went around. That's strike 1. Carson Winchester reached in the top of the first and scored the Owls' first run. Did so on a wild pitch. Hondo's other run came home with an RBI base hit from Trey Dickens. Taylor's throw is high, but Hamlin, good play for the second out. But a productive out will move both runners over to second and third. Lutke now stands 90 feet away at third base. And Andreas, the courtesy runner, now at second as Caden Lentz comes up for Hondo with 2 down. Lentz walks when facing Taylor back of the first. In the air to center. Griman tracks it down, and Taylor works out of a jam in the top of the second. Pitches around 2 walks. Keeps Hondo with 2 runs on the board. We head to the bottom of the second on the Wolves Network.
The camera. 4, 3, 2. All right, here we go.
It's showtime.
He take that drop step, he's dunking it on.
I thought you actually had done your homework.
I will give it back to you, plus shipping and handling.
What? I will bet you all you want to bet.
What is happening?
Watch FS1, GVTC, channel 515.
I'm Andrew Zimmer, and we're showcasing the unique cuisines that put the tastiest locations on the map.
There's a story on every corner.
From hot spices in Asia, it is good, to exotic seasonings in Africa.
I've never had anything like this before.
It's a celebration of life.
Bizarre Foods, delicious destinations, Monday at 10. Cooking Channel, stay hungry.
Watch Cooking Channel, GVTC, channel 127.
I got some things to get off my chest, so I'm going to go ahead and kick this one off. Receivers, notoriously divas, we know that. You really going to say that as a player? How many footballs are on the field at one time? Carry the 2, remain 1.
Speak for yourself. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
Watch FS1, GVTC, channel 515.
Navigating into the bottom of the second, a 2-0 Hondo lead. Coming up for the Wolves, Locke Taylor, Weston Waxler, and Bubba Thompson, batters 4, 5, and 6. Remember, Brandon Garcia for the Owls retired the Wolves in order in the bottom of the first. And by the way, apologies to first-year head coach Ryan Kinnan for Davenport. His first year, our first year in coverage. Everybody learning each other here. As Taylor is hit by a pitch. And the first Wolf to reach base is the Davenport starting pitcher.
Now batting for the Wolves, designated hitter number 18, Weston Waxler.
Taylor didn't bat for the Wolves last night. And a courtesy runner. And now for Davenport, it's Tristan Rudwick, the freshman, who was last night's starting pitcher for Davenport. Again, pitched really well. 5 strikeouts over 4 1/3. And now it's Weston Waxler. The Davenport DH. There's a swing and a ground ball over to second. The force at second base. The turn, not in time. So a fielder's choice will take Rudwick off the base pass. Waxler will take his place at first. And now it's Bubba Thompson. Had a double in yesterday's win over Hondo. Finished 1 for 2 at the plate. Batting .429 on the season and takes ball 1. That double Thompson had last night, his first of the season. And now 6 for 14 at the plate. Garcia. And the count now even at a ball and a strike. Thompson, another freshman on this Wolves team. 1 of 10 for Coach Kinnan. Again, no seniors on the roster for Davenport. They have just 3 juniors. Caleb Pacheco and Weston Waxler, 2 of them playing here today. Two and one. Good pitch for strike 2. Kyler Payne awaits on deck for Davenport. Thompson has only struck out twice so far this season. It stays alive. Again, you go back to the top half of the second. And good pitching from Locke Taylor after getting into some trouble walking the 8 and 9 hitters. Shelton Ludke and Leland Rodriguez was able to retire Carson Winchester and Caden Lentz to get out of the threat. Garcia misses inside, fills the count 3-2. This is the first full count pitch of the game coming up for Garcia. 9 pitches in the inning. As he keeps a close eye over at Waxler at first base, trying to shorten that lead. Full count, walked him. So Bubba Thompson draws the walk. That is the 10th walk of the season Thompson has drawn. No other Wolf has more than 6.
Courtesy runner for the catcher, number 16, Ty Bourne.
Courtesy runner in. Ty Bourne, the other junior. Mentioned 3 on the team. Pacheco, Waxler, and Bourne have now all appeared in this game. And now it's Kyler Payne here for Davenport. Hitting .462 on the season. Six for 13. And Payne takes ball 1. And the throw over to third base, and Waxler is safe.
Ball blue. Count blue.
That's now 14 stolen bases for Davenport in this tournament, and make it 15. Ball gets away, and that will send Waxler to the plate for the Wolves' first run of the game. Good base running by Davenport, applying some pressure to Hondo's defense. And the Wolves are on the board. Waxler, the run scored. And now the game-tying run, Bourne, is over at third, and there's still only 1 out. Very aggressive base running from Davenport throughout the tournament. And Payne ahead 2-0. Now 2-1. Payne didn't hit against John Paul yesterday, but did against Hondo. Was 2 for 2 with a walk and 2 runs scored. C.J. Tanner awaits on deck. Payne looks at ball 3. Another full count coming up from Brandon Garcia. It took Garcia just 13 pitches to get through 3 batters in the top of the bottom of the first. Already up to 14 pitches here in the second. And that's his second straight walk.
Now batting for the Wolves, second baseman, number 11, C.J. Tanner.
That puts the go-ahead run at first base now in Kyler Payne, and it sends up C.J. Tanner. Tanner was 0 for 1 yesterday against Hondo, but drew 2 walks, scored twice, and drove in a run. 5th batter of the inning for Davenport. Throw to first as Payne dives back in. Tanner, the freshman, hitting 8th in the order here today for Davenport, playing at second base. And bunts that foul. Braden Mulkey on deck here for Davenport. The Wolves have scored 1 run already, 2 runners on, and they've done this without the courtesy of a hit. Throw back to first. And again, Payne back in. Bourne, the courtesy runner at third, represents the tying run. Takes his lead from third. That ball is popped up in the infield. And the catch made by Winchester from first base. That's the second out.
Now batting for the Wolves, left fielder, number 17, Braden Mulkey.
Brings up Braden Mulkey now for the Wolves, hitting 9th in the order here today for Davenport. Mulkey batting .474 this season. 6 runs driven in. 9 for 19. RBI chance here for the Davenport outfielder. Throw to second, not in time. 3rd stolen base of the inning for Davenport. And now 16 through 3 games here at the Comal Clash Tournament. And now a base hit to the outfield here could very well give Davenport the lead. Mulkey batting really well so far in this tournament, 3 for 5. Drove in a run yesterday. Falls behind 1-2. Garcia trying to preserve this Hondo lead, and does with a strikeout. His 3rd, but the Wolves send 6 to the plate. They bring home a run. It's now a 2-1 Owl lead heading into the 3rd on the Wolves Network.
It's showtime.
He take that drop step, he's dunking it on.
I thought you actually had done your homework.
I will give it back to you, plus shipping and handling.
What? I will bet you all you want to bet.
What is happening?
Watch FS1, GVTC, channel 515.
I'm Andrew Zimmer, and we're showcasing the unique cuisines that put the tastiest locations on the map.
There's a story on every corner.
From hot spices in Asia, it is good, to exotic seasonings in Africa.
I've never had anything like this before.
It's a celebration of life.
Bizarre Foods, Delicious Destinations, Monday at 10. Cooking Channel, stay hungry.
Watch Cooking Channel, GVTC, Channel 127.
Friday afternoon baseball here from Wolfpack Park at the campus of Davenport High School. Day 2 of the Comal Clash Tournament. Wolves out to a 2-0 start. Couple of wins in day 1 yesterday, 5-2 over John Paul II, and a wild back-and-forth 9-8 walk-off win over Hondo last night. Owls coming to bat here in the top of the third. Brandon Garcia, Will Winchester, and Trey Dickens coming up to bat.
Leading off the top of the third for the Owls, the pitcher.
With Hondo leading 2-1.
Garcia.
Again, Davenport got a run of its own in the bottom of the second, but left runners at second and third as Garcia, now at the plate, struck out Braden Mulkey to end the frame. Third inning of work now for Locke Taylor. And his first pitch of the third hit the left thigh of Garcia. After getting hit by that pitch and the fact that he's pitching in the game, wonder if Coach Mitch Winchester will bring in a courtesy runner. No sign of that right now as Will Winchester steps up, hit into a fielder's choice back of the first, later scored a run. One ball, the no strikes. The Davenport pitching staff coming into this game, 50 innings of work. Solid ERA at 3.23. And a good strikeout to walk ratio, 69-28. Popped him up. Over from short, Payne trying to find it, and does for the first out.
Now batting for the Owls, center fielder number 11, Trey Dickens.
So, Will Winchester 0 for 2. And that'll bring up Trey Dickens, has the only hit of the game for either team. An RBI single to center back of the first. Takes ball 1. Again, this is year 1 of Davenport Athletics, the boys' soccer team about to wrap up its inaugural season. They'll do so on Monday at Canyon Lake. A noon start against the Hawks out in Fisher. Two 2-0 the count. That was Taylor's 41st pitch of the game. Davenport boys winning 4 matches in year 1. As Thompson comes out to visit with Taylor. Remember, Locke Taylor did a really good job pitching around some trouble in the second. Walked back-to-back batters with 1 out, and then retired the hitters 1 and 2 in the order for Hondo. Carson Winchester and Caden Lentz. And here trying to pitch around a leadoff hit by pitch. Pumps in a strike to Dickens. It's 2-1. Wolves girls soccer program. They're playing today here at Davenport High School against Bandera. 5 o'clock start there. And they'll wrap up the season next Friday at home against Canyon Lake. A ball that gets away from Thompson. And Garcia keeps running over to third. So advances 2 bases. And the count now at 3 balls and a strike. Davenport girls sitting on 4 wins here in year 1 themselves. Ground ball to third, knocked down by Meckler, throw to first base, and it is in time for the out. Dickens thought he'd beaten it. But Dickens thrown out. Good play by Meckler. Kept that eye over at Garcia at third base to keep him there. And now there's 2 down. Mentioned, by the way, that Garcia advanced 2 bases on the last wild pitch. There is a ton of room behind home plate, 78 feet. So if a ball gets away, that could spell trouble for any pitcher and catcher, as that is ball 1 to Caleb Gauna, who struck out against Taylor, his only strikeout victim, back in the first. That didn't roll to the backstop. Good news there for the Wolves. 2 balls and no strikes. Davenport softball open district play coming up next Wednesday at home against Fredericksburg. Picked up their first win in program history earlier this week. A rout over Marion, 16-6. Good pitch from Taylor for strike 1. Again, the Owls 2 runs back of the first. Taylor's kept them scoreless since then. Good play by Thompson behind the plate to pick that. 3-1. How about Davenport boys basketball in year 1 going to the postseason? In a tough district. Headlined by Bernie, a team that went to the state finals. Top is called by the batter Gauna. Gabe Guajardo waits on deck for Hondo. Hitters count 3-1. That'll fill things out at 3-2. This Hondo Owl baseball team, they were a postseason team last time there was a completed year. 3-2 as Thompson sets up inside, but the pitch misses up. And that will extend this half inning for Hondo. 2 on, 2 down now for Gabe Guajardo, who lined out to first. A good play by Tristan Hamlin back in the second. Hondo has been to the playoffs in 3 straight years, not counting the pandemic-canceled season last year. But it has been quite some time since they last made a long playoff run. As Guajardo has the early lead here against Taylor, 1 ball and no strikes. That's high. And good decision there by Thompson, bluffing the throw to second to make sure that Garcia stays put at third. But Gauna has a stolen base. And that does take a force out away for the Wolves at second. First base now open And the count to Guajardo. 2 balls and no strikes from Taylor. Ball that gets away, and all that real estate behind home plate will allow Garcia to score. So Garcia, interesting path around the bases there. Hit by a pitch from Taylor. It advances around a home, all on wild pitches. 3-1. And the count 3-0 here to Guajardo with Shelton Ludke on deck. '53rd pitch today from Taylor. It's ball 4 to Guajardo. Back-to-back walks.
Now batting for the Owls, right fielder number 6.
Puts runners in the corners now for Ludke, who drew a walk from Taylor back in the second. Talk briefly about Hondo's recent playoff history. Dating back to 2004, they've been 12 times, but have not gotten any further than the area round. The last time that happened was in 2003, then a region quarterfinalist. Deepest run they've ever had in the region finals, and that was 20 years ago, back in 2001. One 0 to Ludke. Taylor just one pitch away from getting out of this inning. Strike one. Taylor faced 6 batters in the first, 5 of the second. And this is his 6th batter to face off against here in the third. As you see Curvil Tybee make its way into the ballpark. Good breaking ball from Taylor. In there for strike 2. Taylor, 1 strikeout so far here this afternoon. Make it 2. High heat, and Ludke couldn't lay off. And that strikeout will end the top of the third, but the Owls have increased their lead on top by a pair as we head into the bottom of the third on the Wolves Network.
The camera. 4, 3, 2. All right, here we go.
It's showtime.
He take that drop step, he's dunking it on.
I thought you actually had done your homework.
I will give it back to you, plus shipping and handling.
What? I will bet you all you want to bet.
What is happening? Watch FS1, GVTC, channel 515.
One small town, 2 big dreamers.
I love it!
To be a part of something like this, wow, helping restore people's lives.
I can't think of anything that I would love more than what we're doing. This is beautiful. It's a great honor for us.
All new Hometown, Sunday at 8 on HGTV.
Watch HGTV, GVTC, channel 578.
I'm Andrew Zimmer, and we're showcasing the unique cuisines that put the tastiest locations on the map.
There's a story on every corner.
From hot spices in Asia, it is good, to exotic seasonings in Africa.
I've never had anything like this before.
It's a celebration of life.
Bizarre Foods, Delicious Destinations, Monday at 10. Cooking Channel, stay hungry.
Watch Cooking Channel, GVTC, channel 127.
Ryan Kinnan looks on here for Davenport. His Wolves down 3-1, heading into the bottom of the third here from Wolfpack Park. Top part of the order coming up for Davenport. Emmett Griman, Cody Meckler, and Caleb Pacheco. If you recall, back in the bottom of the first inning, Brandon Garcia went through this part of the order. 1, 2, 3. Struck out Griman and Pacheco and has 3 punch-outs in the game. Garcia scored for the Owls in the top half of this inning. Hondo sent 6 to plate, left 2 men on, but didn't have a hit in the top of the third. 1-0 to Emmett Griman. Here's a ground ball. Deep of the hole, it's short. Long throw, Winchester, and it's not in time. Infield base hit, Emmett Griman, the Wolves' first hit today. And a good way to start the bottom of the third. We'll bring up Cody Meckler. If you'd like to know more about Davenport baseball, follow them on social media at BSBL Davenport. Here's Meckler. 0 for 1 so far this afternoon. Drove in 2 in this game last night. Swings and knocks out to left field for a base hit. So the second time through the order, and perhaps Davenport picking up on something here against Brandon Garcia. So the tying run is at first now, and nobody out for Caleb Pacheco. Pacheco struck out swinging against Garcia back in the first. He's swinging early as well, but pokes that foul. And Pacheco falls behind 0-1. Again, the game-winning RBI walk last night has drawn 4 walks in the season. And now 6 RBI. There's a ground ball. Force at third, throw to first for a 5-3 double play. However, Meckler kept running and takes third base.
Now batting for the Wolves, the pitcher, number 20, Locke.
And that is the first double play of the game, turned by either team. And just like that, 1 pitch and 2 outs brings up the Wolves pitcher, Locke Taylor, who was hit by a pitch from Garcia back in the second. Takes ball 1. Talked about Taylor's numbers on the mound. At the plate, batting .375 this year. Pops it up, but Rodriguez couldn't get there with his mask coming off. Runs the count to a ball and a strike. Taylor's got home run power, has 1 of the 2 home runs the Wolves have hit this season. Also has a double and a triple this year. There's a shot to the shortstop, Winchester, and to his brother at first. And Garcia pitches out of trouble in the third inning. First to reach, nobody comes home. It remains a 3-1 Hondo lead through 3 innings on the Wolves Network.
It's every school. The dedication, the passion, the preparation.
1, 2, 3,
every game, every day.
It's all been built up. Now it's time to play.
And it only happens here. Every play, every run. It's every pass and score. It's everything you love, and it's everything we live for. This is big. Only on Big Ten Network.
On the camera. 4, 3, 2. All right, here we go, ladies.
It's showtime.
He take that drop step, he's dunking it on.
I thought you actually had done your homework.
I will give it back to you, plus shipping and handling.
What? I will bet you all you want to bet.
What is happening?
Watch FS1, GVTC, channel 515.
(3-1) Hondo on top here in day 2 of the Comal Clash Baseball Tournament. Coming up for the Owls, Leland Rodriguez, Carson Winchester, and Caden Lentz. So far, Locke Taylor has held Hondo to just 1 base hit, but 3 have come home to score. And he's facing batters 9, 1, and 2 in the order here in the 4th inning. Talked earlier about the great base stealing numbers for Davenport throughout this tournament. Now 16 through the first 2 days. Through their first 11 games this year, Davenport 52 stolen bases, nearly 5 a game. Rodriguez, leadoff batter for Hondo, drew a walk.
Michael Driscoll, you need to report to the Davenport office.
Against Taylor, back in the second.
You need to report to the Davenport office.
As Taylor visits with the infield and trying to keep this a 2-run game.
Top of the 4th for the Owls, the catcher, number 24, Leland Rodriguez.
Gone through Davenport's schedule, looking to Hondo's here in a moment. As Rodriguez digs in and looks at ball 1. After this Comal Clash, Hondo won't play again until next Thursday at Uvalde. There's still 6 non-district games left for Hondo against St. Mary's Hall, Comfort, Crystal City, Central Catholic, and Navarro. Hondo won't open district play until April the 9th against Divine.
Attention students, Sophia Reyes.
A team that won its first 2 games of the season. Hondo knocked off Natalia 14-0 and then Lytle 7-2. But then the Owls lost 4 of their next 5. A check swing, poked foul. Evens the count at 2-2. Hondo split a pair of games last Friday against San Antonio Christian and Cornerstone Christian, winning the former and losing the latter. Rodriguez didn't offer. There was an appeal down to base umpire Robert Rendon, but didn't see him give a signal. But with Rodriguez still batting, and there it is. You saw in the background there, he didn't go. Fills the count at 3-2. Leadoff man has reached twice so far for Hondo, and now a 3rd time in 4 innings as Rodriguez takes first base. Back to the top of Hondo's lineup card brings up Carson Winchester. 0 for 2 with the runs scored so far this afternoon. The pitch count started to climb a little bit here for Locke Taylor. His next pitch will be his 64th. As yet again, Hondo will lift Rodriguez for a courtesy runner. Over at first base.
Pinch running number 4, Alvarez.
It's Caden Alvarez over at first now. Ball one inside to Carson Winchester. Again, Davenport's 28-40 opener. Coming up March 23rd against Fredericksburg. Good pitch for strike one. The second district series of the year will come against Bernie, followed by Bandera, Wimberley, and then the final against Canyon Lake in late April. Taylor. A ground ball off his glove, but this could be two. Payne to first for a inning-ending 6-3 double play. So the Wolves hit into one in the bottom of the third. They turn one here at the top of the fourth inning. They lost track of the outs there. The way the players reacted, that's only two, and Taylor kind of smiling right now. That's not three, but the bases are empty, and there's two away now for Caden Lentz.
How about in left fielder number 2, Caden Lentz.
And now Carson Winchester 0 for 3, hitting leadoff today for Hondo. Lentz 0 for 1 with a walk. Lentz ahead early, 1 ball, no strikes. Third-year player for the Owls. Lentz again had just 2 hits coming into the tournament, but had one yesterday and scored a run. That hit for Lentz was a double. This ball lashed foul, and that will even the count at a ball and a strike. Spoke earlier about Hondo's last complete season back in 2019. A 22-7 finish that year, and that was a 10-win improvement from the year prior. On the ground, Payne. And that is out number 3. So, the Wolves shortstop, Kyler Payne, the freshman, a couple of good defensive plays in the top of the fourth, sends us into the bottom with Hondo leading 3-1 in day 2 of the Comal Clash Baseball Tournament.
It's every school. The dedication, the passion, the preparation.
1, 2, 3,
every game, every day.
It's all been built up. Now it's time to play.
And it only happens here. Every play, every run. It's every pass and score. It's everything you love, and it's everything we live for. This is big. Only on Big Ten Network.
Oh, yes. Boom. I got a few more obstacles. Much better. Hit it, Enzo.
Arrivederci. Buongiorno.
The Wheeler Dealers. New episodes Tuesdays at 9 on Motor Trend.
An exclusive club here at Davenport. 11 games into the season, the 400 Club. 5 members for Davenport through the first 11 games. But so far, this potent lineup has been limited to just 2 hits. Brendan Mulkey, Bubba Thompson, Caleb Pacheco, Weston Waxler, and Tristan Hamlin, all a part of that club here for the Wolves, trying to stay undefeated in the Comal Clash Tournament. 2 wins yesterday, but trailing here 3-1 as we go into the bottom of the fourth. Waxler, Thompson, and Payne coming up for the Wolves.
Batting for the Wolves is designated hitter number 18, Weston Waxler.
Waxler 0 for 1. But scored the Wolves' only run back in the second and take strike one from Brandon Garcia. Garcia's kept his pitch count relatively low, just 42 so far, while his counterpart Locke Taylor has thrown 69. Again, Davenport playing later today against Kerrville-Tybee. And they'll wrap up this tournament tomorrow. Fouled off for strike two. There are time limits on each of these games, with the exception of the championship game tomorrow. Hour and 50 minutes is the limit. And so far, we're about an hour and 20 into this one. High for ball two. Waxler, Thompson, Payne batting for Davenport here in the fourth. Leadoff man has reached for the Wolves in each of the past two innings. As the count fills here to Waxler. Garcia has walked two batters so far here this afternoon. The Wolves drew 8 walks in the win over Hondo last night. After drawing just 3 in the opening game of the tournament against John Paul II. Waxler, the batter here, hit a triple in that game. Scored twice in a 5-2 win. As Brandon Garcia resets. Full count. Walked him. Leadoff man reaches, and it brings up the game-tying run in Bubba Thompson. Thompson walked against Garcia back in the second. And again, it gives him 10 on the year, most on the team. He's responsible for nearly a quarter of the Wolves' walks this year. Davenport has drawn 45 walks collectively, and again, Thompson has 10 of them. Thompson, that's a base hit to left. Third hit of the game for Davenport.
For the Wolves, the shortstop.
And the first two for the Wolves reach again. This is what we saw in the bottom of the third, but Garcia wriggled off the hook then. And this might lead to a pitching change here for Hondo. Here's Coach Winchester with the card in his hand.
On the courtesy run for Bubba Thompson, number 16, Ty Bourne.
As Ty Bourne comes in to run again for Thompson over at first base. So Coach Winchester again meeting on the mound with the infield along with Garcia. And let's see if Hondo makes a change. Big at-bat coming up for Kyler Payne. As a meeting is broken up by home plate umpire Matthew Alfred. So a big moment here for Payne. With 2 on and nobody out. And Hondo on top by a pair. Payne walked against Garcia back in the second. There's the bunt, third base side, and everybody is safe. There was some hesitation on the part of Garcia, but quite honestly, even if he had looked and threw to first right away, I still think that Payne would have been safe. So a bunt single loads the bases. And that will spell the end for Brandon Garcia. New pitcher coming in for Hondo. With the bases loaded and nobody out in a 2-run game. And it looks like Caleb Gauna has come over from second to take Garcia's place on the mound. Gauna getting in his final warm-up pitches. Only question now for Hondo is who takes over at second. Could be Garcia. He hasn't gone to the dugout. Still has a glove in his hand. And the Wolves bats again looking to come through here. Bases loaded and nobody out. This inning began with a walk to Weston Waxler. Bubba Thompson a base hit to left. And then Kyler Payne an infield bunt single. The line for Brandon Garcia, not final yet, as all the runners on base belong to him. Did finish, though, with 3 strikeouts and 3 innings of work, surrendering 4 hits. But also walked 3, pitch count over 50. And over at second base now for Hondo, new second baseman. As C.J. Tanner comes up. So Carson Winchester is now at second base. And that's ball 1. So Winchester's gone from short over to second. And Garcia takes over at shortstop. Strike 1 to C.J. Tanner. And so now Hondo has the Winchester brothers on the right side of the infield. A ball and a strike. And now it's 1-2. Gauna in on the mound, trying to get out of a jam here for the Owls in the bottom of the 4th. Trying to preserve a 2-run lead. But again, nobody out. And the count 1-2 to C.J. Tanner, who popped up to first back in the second inning. He's 0 for 1. Tanner productive, hitting 7th of the order last night, hitting 8th here today. 2-2 on the outside corner for strike 3. Fourth strikeout for Owls pitching here this afternoon brings up Braden Mulkey. Mulkey struck out against Garcia back in the second. He's 0 for 1. Had 2 hits in this game last night. Mulkey chased off the plate, but ahead 1 ball to no strikes. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first base. A ball to strike. After Mulkey, Davenport will go back to the top of its lineup. 1-1. Mulkey lays off, runs the count to 2 balls and a strike. And now a big pitch coming up. 3-1 to Mulkey, and nowhere to put him. There's Waxer over at third base. The courtesy runner is over at second. Barone. Here's a pop-up into shallow right. Drifting over into center as Dickens makes a catch. And the runner from third, Waxer, tags and scores. A productive out for Braden Mulkey. A sac fly RBI brings home the Wolves' second run of the game.
Now batting for the Wolves, center fielder number 1, Emmett Griman.
And now it's Emmett Griman with 2 on and 2 down in a 1-run game. Griman, last time up, had an infield base hit. He's 1 for 2. Gauna, again in relief of Garcia, trying to limit the damage and keep this lead intact as Griman calls for time. 2 big hits last night, driving in 2 for Davenport. And trying to come through in a big spot right now. A ground ball towards short, deep in the hole, and everybody is safe. And that will load the bases again. Griman's second straight infield base hit. And the tying run now at third. And the bases are juiced for Cody Meckler. Meckler singled back in the third. He's 1 for 2 here today. Drove in 2 runs last night. And an RBI chance here in the 4th inning in a 1-run game. A base hit could give the Wolves the lead.
That's a balk. That's a balk. That's a balk.
Coach Kinnan is arguing that should have been a balk. Gauna stepped off the rubber without coming to a full reset. And Coach Kinnan now talking to the base umpire, Robert Rendon. A balk would have advanced every runner 90 feet, thus tying the game. But instead we play on. But now a meeting between the 2 umps, Matthew Alford and Robert Rendon. And the argument continues. Nothing will change. Bases remain full. It remains a 1-run Hondo lead. Could be a big moment these two will look back on in this game. Meckler digs back in. First pitch of the at-bat here from Gauna. Misses for ball 1. 1 ball to no strikes. Off the outside corner, runs the count to 2-0. Again, Meckler at the plate here for Davenport. Has 7 RBI in the season. And now trying to add to that total. 2-1. Gauna relieved Garcia earlier in the inning and has already fired off 14 pitches. This is the 3rd batter he has faced. He's gotten the first 2 out. I beg your pardon, his 4th. He's gotten 2 of the first 3 out. But now in trouble here. 3-1. Caleb Pacheco on deck. 1 run already in for Davenport here in the 4th. Gauna in the air to center, drifting towards the left center field gap. On the run, though, the catch is made by Dickens. A long out ends the threat for the Wolves in the bottom of the 4th inning. They send 7 to the plate, but leave them loaded with 1 run coming in. 3-2 Hondo on top. We've played 4 on the Wolves Network.
It's every school. The dedication, the passion, the preparation.
1, 2, 3,
every game, every day.
It's all been built up. Now it's time to play.
And it only happens here. Every play, every run. It's every pass and score. It's everything you love, and it's everything we live for. This is big. Only on Big Ten Network.
Oh, yes. Boom. I got a few more obstacles. Much better. Hit it, Enzo.
Arrivederci. Buongiorno.
Wheeler Dealers. New episodes Tuesdays at 9 on Motor Trend.
Some controversy in the last half inning in the bottom of the 4th. Davenport leading the bases loaded, and Coach Ryan Canan is still arguing about what had transpired. Again, the bases were full when the relief pitcher for the Owls, Caleb Gauna, did not come to a full reset after he stepped off the rubber. Coach Canan looking for a ball call that would have tied the game. Call wasn't made, and then the batter, Cody Meckler, flew out to left center to end the inning and leave the bases loaded. We go to the top of the 5th, and the time limit is approaching. More than an hour and 30 into an hour and 50 time limit, as Brandon Garcia, the starting pitcher for the Owls, steps in to face off against Locke Taylor for his 5th inning of work. And Garcia takes ball 1. It's Garcia, Will Winchester, and Trey Dickens coming up to bat for the Owls here in the top half of the 5th inning, clinging to a 3-2 lead. On the ground behind the pitcher, Taylor. That would have been a tough play for Taylor to make, even if he fields it cleanly. So Garcia, an infield base hit. That is the first hit of the game for Hondo since a 2-out single back in the 1st inning.
Now batting for the Owls, first baseman, number 21, Will Winchester.
Hondo scored twice in that first. Dickens had an RBI base hit, and Carson Winchester scored on a wild pitch. Hondo scored his 3rd run of the game back in the 3rd, scored by Garcia. He too scored off of a wild pitch. There's a bunt. Thompson has one play, and he makes it. So a sacrifice put down by Will Winchester.
Now batting center fielder, number 11, Trey Dickens.
Brings up Trey Dickens. Has one of the two Hondo hits here this afternoon. Next pitch for Locke Taylor will be his 73rd. And by the way, the line is now final for Garcia, the Hondo starter. His line today, 3 innings of work, giving up 2 earned runs off 4 hits, finishing with 3 strikeouts and 3 walks. (1-0), runs to 2-0, and Garcia will advance over to third base. Again, important for Davenport to keep Hondo scoreless here in the top of the 5th inning, because the bottom half of the 5th could very well be the final time that Davenport comes up to bat here today because of the time limit. Two and 0. And the infield now drawn in for Davenport, trying to cut off any play at the plate. Meckler and Payne from third and short respectively on the infield grass. Same for Tanner and Hamlin on the right side. A give me over strike, 3-1. Third-year senior Trey Dickens digging in. And looking for his second base hit of the day. He has the only outfield base hit for the Owls. The only other hit was Garcia's infield hit earlier in this inning. But he walks. Good block by Thompson, though, to keep that ball from going to the backstop. And that'll put runners on the corners for Caleb Gauna.
Pitcher, number 1, Caleb Gauna.
Remember, though, in the top of the 4th inning, Davenport turned a 6-3 double play. And that's very much in order right now. Gauna 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. The next pitch will be Taylor's 78th of the game. Perhaps a squeeze play on. Thompson tracking it down. It keeps Garcia at third, but Dickens does advance over to second, which does take the double play out of order for the Wolves. The count 0-1 to Caleb Gauna. Taylor. Perhaps a safety squeeze on again. But the jump from Garcia too big. Garcia comes home and he's tagged out by Thompson. Perhaps Garcia misread the signs, thought it was a suicide as he was halfway down the line from third to home plate. Easy out for Davenport. And the count 0-2 to Gauna. A big second out now. Because for the Owls, the sacrifice, a sac fly or ground out, no longer in order here. And a wild pitch or pass ball also would not allow another run to come home. A little bit of a cat and mouse game between Taylor and Dickens over at second. The right-hander looking to escape the top of the fifth inning, keep this a 3-2 game, and give the bats a chance to what could be the final at-bats of the afternoon. High and tight to Gauna, ball one. When Davenport comes up to bat in the bottom half of this inning, it's Pacheco, Taylor, and Waxer due up. And remember, Davenport overcame a one-run deficit against Hondo last night.
Get out of the box.
1-2.
Strike.
Runs a count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, a busy day of baseball for Davenport, playing Kerrville Tivy later. John Paul II, their baseball team is in the ballpark right now as Dickens steals third base. Third still on the base of the game for Hondo. Taylor wants to head against Gauna, 0-2. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fills the count, 3-2. Some big insurance for Hondo waiting at third. Taylor, 2 strikeouts so far today, and Gauna was one of the victims. Back in the first. 3-2. And walks him. Second walk of the inning by Taylor. Brings up Gabe Guajardo. Walked himself back in the third inning. He's 0 for 1. And Guajardo will visit with his head coach, Mitch Winchester, as Coach Keenan looks on for the dugout at his lineup card. Courtesy runner in for Hondo. Over at first base, second time we have seen Caden Alvarez come in a courtesy run. A meeting on the mound here for Hondo. The pitch count is up to 82 for Taylor. As Coach Keenan visits with the team, again in his first year in this first-year program. Out to a 6-5 start. Davenport has won its first 2 games of this Comal Clash Tournament. Trailing here, though, 3-2. And Hondo threatening to add to its lead with 2 on and 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. And Davenport will only have 1 more at-bat in this game, as we will exceed the hour 50 time limit by the time the bottom of the 5th starts. But Davenport allowed to bat despite the fact the time limit will have expired. But that does mean no 6th inning or later. Here is Guajardo. Taylor has worked out of jams all afternoon long. First pitch off the glove, or no, it went off the bat. I believe it hit the bat of Guajardo. That should be a strike. And it was. One of the oddest strikes you'll ever see. Taylor missed by a wide margin, but missed so much it hit the top of the bat of Guajardo. That ball's popped up into center. Griman is there, and yet again, Locke Taylor works out of trouble. In the fifth, no runs on a hit and 2 men left. Wolves coming to bat for the final time today, needing a run or two to come back and defeat Hondo. Back after this on the Wolves Network.
It's every school. The dedication, the passion, the preparation.
1, 2, 3,
every game, every day.
It's all been built up. Now it's time to play.
And it only happens here. Every play, every run. It's every pass and score. It's everything you love, and it's everything we live for. This is big. Only on Big Ten Network.
I'm Andrew Zimmern, and we're showcasing the unique cuisines that put the tastiest locations on the map.
There's a story on every corner.
From hot spices in Asia, it is good, to exotic seasonings in Africa.
I've never had anything like this before.
It's a celebration of life.
Bizarre Foods, Delicious Destinations, Monday at 10. Cooking Channel, stay hungry.
Watch Cooking Channel. GVTC, Channel 127.
Heading into the bottom of the fifth inning, the final half inning of this game, as this game has now hit its time limit. But one more at-bat coming up for Davenport. And in this half inning, they will send up Pacheco, Taylor, and Wax. They're trailing 3-2. And again, Davenport erased a 1-run deficit last night against Hondo. But now Caleb Gauna trying to make sure that doesn't happen for a second straight day. Relieved of the starter, Brendan Garcia, back in the fourth inning, and retired 3 of the 4 batters he faced. And now facing Pacheco to start the bottom of the fifth.
Right fielder, number 14, Caleb Pacheco.
Pacheco 0 for 2 and hit into a critical 5-3 double play his last time up in the third. Gauda misses for ball 1. Line today final for Locke Taylor. Yeoman's effort, 5 innings, giving up 3 runs on just 2 hits. Did walk 8, struck out 2, but again, was able to get out of jams through about every inning here today. As a count to Pacheco evens at a ball and a strike. Again, the wild finish to this one last night. Game that went back and forth. 1-2 to Pacheco. Game was tied at 2 going into the bottom of the fourth when Davenport scored 5 runs. Hondo responded with 6 in the top of the fifth. As again, the game hit its time limit. But Davenport had the chance to answer, and they did, scoring twice in the bottom of the fifth to win the game. And it was Pacheco, the batter here, who drove in the game-winning run at an RBI bases-loaded walk. 2-2 from Gauna. Fills the count. Gauna did not pitch in this game yesterday. It was Hyen, Kowalik, and Winchester for Hondo. Their 3 pitchers yesterday. Called strike 3 in the outside corner. Pacheco doesn't agree. Strikes out for the second time. And it's 2 down, or 1 down, I beg your pardon. Now for Locke Taylor. Hit by a pitch in the second. Grounded out to short back in the third. He's 0 for 1. Again, does have the power to perhaps tie this game. Has 1 homer this year. Takes ball 1 upstairs from Gauna. Taylor represents the game-tying run. The go-ahead run, Waxer's on deck. A ball and a strike. Only runs for Davenport today on a wild pitch back in the second and a sac fly RBI in the fourth. Hondo's kept this lineup in check after tagging the Owls for 9 runs last night. 2-1. Taylor, a swing in the air to left. It's deep, and this game is tied. Locke Taylor, clutch home run, ties the game at 3. Second home run of the season for Locke Taylor. This one comes at a critical time, and the Wolves will avoid a loss in this game and now play for the win.
Now batting for the Wolves, designated hitter number 18, Weston Waxler.
A no-doubt shot to left field. Lentz kept giving chase for Hondo, ran out of room, and could only watch. As Taylor ties the game, now it's Waxler, and takes strike 1. This game can end in a tie because Hondo will not bat again. So that's the worst case scenario if you're the Wolves. More late game heroics in this tournament for Davenport. Waxler has reached twice. Scored Davenport's first run of the game back in the second. Walked and scored the other run of the fourth. The only Davenport that scored up until that homer from Locke Taylor moments ago. Three and one.
Be smart, Weston. Let's go now.
So Taylor, the home run, also takes himself off the hook for a loss. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He can still be the pitcher of record. If Davenport comes back to win this game, he get the win. Three and 2. Struck him out. Second strikeout for Caleb Gauna. That brings up Bubba Thompson. And Thompson has been a tough out for Hondo here this afternoon. Walked to the second, singled back in the fourth inning. Nobody on and 2 away. As Thompson looks at ball 1. That ball lifted in the air to center and over to left center. The catch is made by Lentz, cutting off Dickens from center field. And that will end this game in a 3-3 tie.
That's the ball game, ladies.
So,
your score is Owls 3.
Davenport doesn't win this game, but the Wolves avoid their first loss of the Comal Clash Tournament. A big home run from Locke Taylor in the bottom of the 5th inning. A 1-out shot to left. Tied the game at 3. And these two will settle for this 3-3 tie. Davenport, though, again playing later today against Kerrville-Tybee. And we'll have that for you coming up here on the Wolves Network. Tie game between these two ends in a deadlock at 3 apiece. On behalf of our entire Whip Productions crew, I'm Brant Freeman saying good afternoon on the Wolves Network from Davenport High School.